And we're going live to save lives. This is Fitness for Phorons. And we're starting late as usual, but what can you expect? I'm a non white. You expect me to start on time? You don't want to give me any money, but you want me to start on time. You don't want to give me any credit. You don't want to subscribe to my channel. You don't want to like my videos. You don't want to like my posts. You don't want to give me positive reputation, but you do want me to start my videos on time. That's a little implausible to me. But anyway, there's been an epidemic of phorons getting strokes and heart attacks. And I suppose it was inevitable as everybody is getting old. And the years of sedentary labor, posting on the fora, posting in the salt mines, it's been a rough job running that shout box. You got to get your quota of 150 posts a day on the fora, 5 posts a day at Scatty, you know, 8 posts a day here, 10 posts a day. You gotta get that Fed bucks, if you're Dr. Alan James. But anyway, I thought I'd talk about that a little bit about fitness for phorons because everybody is going to suffer in the near future. Now, people may be wondering, where is Dr. Alan James? He was supposed to join you for the shirtless broadcast. Dr. Alan James is always having issues with his girlfriend. And I don't know how. I'm really not happy with individuals who are senior citizens who have girlfriends. It's not like, they have a girlfriend who is 17 or 18. I say, okay, whatever. You're a 53-year-old man with an 18-year-old girlfriend. Good for you. You're a 53-year-old man with a girlfriend, woman you call your girlfriend over 21. I have questions. She's too old to be your girlfriend if she's no longer a girl. How long do you expect her to stay a girl? She can't be your girlfriend if she's over 21. That's just a legal reality. Well, the term girl, though, it's a minor or what have you, but it's like
too young to be
she's
your old lady.
no longer, it depends. She is no longer a girl, she's a woman. And that's the bottom line, and you can say, oh, it's semantics, you're being pedantic, but no, in fact, I'm not. I'm correcting this misapprehension on your part that has led to the infantilization of an entire generation. What do you have to say about that? So Dr. Alan James is not with us. I mean, we can't all have ripped abs. God knows what Quantico gives their confidential informants. Obviously they told him your cover is going to be a gay racist bodybuilder, and so we're going to give you all these steroids so you can be ripped. And obviously they didn't understand about the fora. The fora went through its gay racist bodybuilder phase like 15 years ago, so there are no gay racist bodybuilders at the fora anymore, and consequently Dr. Alan James's cover is therefore, did I use the word implausible already tonight? I did. Is therefore no longer legitimate or no longer realistic. Darn, I was looking forward to using that implausible in this particular context, but apparently it's not to be. So, fitness. How can you avoid having a stroke or a heart attack? Now, Prac basically refused to take any exercise whatsoever. So, I would recommend that you focus on losing 25 pounds regardless of your weight. I think this is a good goal for you to go about losing 25 pounds immediately. And I would go about it by studying my blood type, having my metabolism tested. We can test the metabolism.
Yes and no. It's a series of different exercises they put you through and record your body's response.
Yeah, well, a lot
You
of
can't
people.
like have a blood test for it.
Now the other side of that is, you know, a lot of people. Do you want to come on, deaf operator? A lot of people are not willing to spring for tests. I'll tell them, well, you need to get your blood tested every 3 months. Well, I can't afford that. Well, your fake insurance should pay for it. If it doesn't pay for it, then you've got problems, and you get all kinds of tests. You should be having all kinds of tests on your body all the time to make sure it's operating at maximum efficiency or maximum quality. And if you don't do this, then you're obviously, first of all, a brokey, and second of all, very foolhardy or very careless of your future. So consequently, I would recommend getting all the tests you can before deciding on a particular course of action regarding diet and fitness training. Prac, he gets to basically, he thinks walking in the woods for 5 minutes with his iPhone on, is exercise, which it's not. He's not getting in an adequate amount of cardio to prevent having another stroke. I mean, it's just unbelievably sloppy how Prac has a stroke. The guy has done nothing since 2007, and he comes down with a stroke. He's literally done nothing but sit in front of his computer since 2007, and he wants to say he had a stroke. Well, yeah, you ate yourself into a stroke. Who is it? There's a saying about food being the worst, the greatest poison in the world. So I'm a great proponent of juicing, and not in the sense of using steroids. And the latest juice that I'm working on right now is a lemon radish mix, which I highly recommend. Now, don't knock it until you've tried it. So you take some lemons and you take a whole bag of radishes, and you're going to need a lot of radishes for these because radishes do not juice terribly well. Now, the good news is you can eat the pulp. Now, do I have good recipes for eating the pulp? No. If you know somebody has hogs, you're going to be generating a fair amount of pulp. If you have chickens, all the better. You're going to have a lot of pulp from juicing, and so I highly recommend this blend. I may even try to market it in the near future because I don't think anybody's thought of it. Uh, a lot of people have been juicing potatoes lately, and I think that's an interesting concept. Again, it's very hard to get much juice out of a potato. It's worth the effort with radishes. I don't know that it's worth the effort with potatoes. The main goal is to fill your stomach with calories that are basically good for your body, because you really don't need to eat it all. This is what people don't understand. I'm maintaining the peak physique here, and consequently, I have to eat a certain way to maintain a certain amount of muscle mass. And, for the average person, if you're not interested in maintaining that certain amount of muscle mass, you don't need to eat at all. The reason we eat is primarily the same reason other people smoke, for comfort. And, it's whatever. So if you want to feel better, you supplant those comfort calories with healthful calories that are also, you find, soothing. Is Tony standing there in the doorway?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we can continue. So, some good calories to eat to fill your stomach, or to imbibe also to fill your stomach. Raw milk. Raw milk is a really good calorie builder. It does not make you fat. I get raw milk from the Amish. I haven't gotten any in a while. May take the jug with me and get some tomorrow. And it actually helps me because I seesaw my weight some, and it helps me keep strength when seesawing my weight. And it's a good form of getting general healthy, non-fattening calories
Oh, well,
overall.
they're fattening, but they're the good.
yeah, good fat. They're not going to put a lot of weight on you. They're not going to make you look fat. So
It's the fat your body needs to function optimally versus the fat your body uses to pad itself.
precisely, and so yeah, you want to get rid of all the padding. The surplus padding is the biggest problem. So the raw milk, I highly recommend. Drink several glasses a day. Again, what's the purpose of eating like this? The purpose of eating like this is, again, to deal with your cravings for comfort, not for food. You're never hungry because you don't do anything with your life. You literally do nothing all day if you're a four poster. So in order to deal with that, you replace those comfort calories, as I said, with the liquid calories from milk, and then also from the natural juice, which you don't need to necessarily do lemon and radish. I just think there's some interesting blends out there. What
For instance, I like cabbage and apple.
cabbage and apple? There
And if
does
you can put a peach in there, and you can put your lemon and radishes in with the cabbage if you don't care for the taste of lemon and radish combined, which is odd.
and of course good old kale, collards, all those greens, great to juice. Find you some Asian farmers in your neighborhood. There's no white people gardening anymore. White people like to grow tomatoes. I don't know why white people like to grow tomatoes, aside from the fact that they're from the nightshade family. Nightshade is associated with evil, and most white people are satanic. So I think this is the reason they want to grow tomatoes. They say, "Oh, I guess I want to make my own salsa, man." What do they?
They're easy.
Yeah, yeah. It's like tomatoes are the lowest form of. The only thing lower than tomatoes are cucumbers and squash, and they might be a little bit more technical. So they're a little harder to grow, not by much though, but and you're going to get a surfeit, a bounteous crop, and so you don't need to do any form of labor to do that. So that's why they're popular. But anyway, there's dozens of different concoctions and combinations of vegetables and fruits that you can do to make these drinks and make them palatably so that they serve as a comfort to you as much as the cheap zog chow would have.
And also, you can get used to eating raw vegetables. And I'm talking green beans, zucchini squash, yellow squash, not your typical carrot, celery, broccoli. You can venture, and almost all vegetables can be eaten raw.
Yeah, and I like to do apples and bananas. I'm an old school. I'm old school
Those
about
are
that.
vegetables.
Oh yeah. For fruits, in terms of vegetables, not necessarily raw, but Brussels sprouts are good.
Not raw.
Cabbage and kale, you can eat them. It's very easy to eat cabbage and kale. I know they have the kale chips now, but you can just literally buy a bag of kale and eat it. I've done that many times. Carrots.
Also, if you don't like kale raw because of the afterbite, put a little bit of garlic on it and put them in the oven at 200 for about 10 minutes. It gets the bitter out, but you still have all the nutrients.
And so that's another alternative that you can use. There are lots of alternatives, and there was another one I was going to suggest.
You can do the same thing with squash and with even green beans. Your goal is get the crunchy so your mind is satiated while only feeding your body healthy things. You can do that if you put some thought into it.
Yeah, and of course, last but not least is the carrot salad, which can be very palatable with the vinegar and salt and so forth and so on. So I'm just saying, like she said, there's a lot of options for eating healthy and supplanting. Did I use that word already?
No place.
Supplanting the zog chow with healthy alternatives that also relieve your stress and allow you to feel better immediately. So those are some basic dietary directives that, should you choose to follow them, will probably lead to you having healthier blood work, which in turn will make you less likely to suffer from strokes or heart attacks or any other such maladies.
That's
Uh,
melodies, malaise.
anyway, we'll go on to exercise. Now, this is something else foreigners are very allergic to is exercise. The best form of exercise for foreigners would be to get two or three black guys to chase them, and that would be the way I would literally, train foreigners if they came to me and said, "Hey, we want you to help us lose weight and be healthier in 30 days." I'd immediately go and hire two or three black guys to go chase them around, and wherever those guys, those foreigners went, there would be the black guys going after them to chase them around. So you're probably not going to get that amount of cardio sufficient to burning calories to upwards of 20 pounds. But some other alternatives for that are to consider, besides walking and diet, thinking about methods of working out besides running or walking or basic cardio. And then having an idea of how much time elapses while you are doing these exercises, as well as how many calories you are burning while doing them. And that's not necessarily important as it is to increase the rate of your metabolism as quickly as possible. And that's why Ray Pete was recommending what is it, T3? What does T3 stand for?
What?
What does T3 stand for in the body? But anyway, this is what you're going to need in the near future. Now, what are some other desires for posters? They want to theoretically look fit and look ripped or what have you. Well, bad news for you, this is not happening. So we're going to move right on from that one to understanding people who simply do not want to change their lifestyle. So, I would say that a guy like Pratt was not entitled to anything because for many years, as I've said before, he was proxy to a lot of good information, and he chose to ignore it. Not only did he choose to ignore it, he chose to actually actively sneer at it, consequently getting him to the shape it, that he is currently in. So this has been hopefully an object lesson for forearms. So what other exercises should you do? What else should you do with your diet? Well, I believe that due to the extreme outbreeding in the United States, it's hard to recommend a uniform diet to mongrels. And consequently, I would recommend that everybody message me with questions regarding the nature or structure of their body and their goals and their body maintenance or body types, and go from there with me in potentially choosing a course of action. But right now, it's very clear that most people will not spend their money efficiently or economically, and consequently, most real expensive horses are out of reach. So this is why I've been desirous of bringing this to the forefront so people can have a better concept of what they're going through and see it from a bigger picture, a larger perspective. So without further ado, I'm going to close this broadcast. Hail victory and long live death.